It's Joel Makower, executive editor of GreenBiz.com. I'm here in Rio Centro, which is the headquarters for the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, better known as Rio+20. The goal of the UN summit was to forge an agreement among 188 countries, with the help of businesses, activists, and others, on a set of solutions to reduce poverty, advance social equity, and ensure environmental protection for the decades ahead. For the hundreds of companies present, it was an opportunity not just to shape the dialogue, but to learn from one another, and to announce their own commitments, individually and collectively, to advance sustainable development. I've come to Rio to get the business eye view of what's going on down here, why companies are here, what they're learning, and what the takeaway is for the business community coming out of Rio+20. Here's what they had to say.
I came to Rio not necessarily because of the negotiations, not necessarily because I expect a huge amount to come out of them, but because I knew that gathered here in one place for a short space of time would be the top businesses in the world, some of the most creative people working on sustainability issues. So it's a kind of place to come, get inspired, meet with good people and get energized.
I came to Rio looking forward to being with business colleagues, working with NGOs, and really trying to find new collaborations that might advance the cause of sustainable business.
There's never been a UN conference that has had greater participation from the private sector. And for instance, Sustainable Energy for All, which is one of the initiatives which is included in the outcomes document, really talks about providing energy access to all, doubling the rate of energy efficiency, and doubling the amount of renewable energy. Those are incredibly strong goals and will draw on a lot of private sector investment and capture a lot of the benefits.
I think the opportunity for business really is to start to lead on this agenda, and there's a real kind of sense of a lack of movement and enthusiasm from governments. They're very focused on the economic crisis, on the short term, and this place is full of top business leaders coming out and making serious commitments and showing leadership. So I think the opportunity for business is to tell the story about what they're doing and get some good PR, but also maybe to shame government into doing a little bit more.
National governments will not resolve the issue, that you need to go to regions, to cities, that you need to turn to practical examples.
To also work with my counterparts to develop initiatives that are going to help the cities all over the world. And I've made quite a few pretty interesting contacts on initiatives that I think would work. All of us are looking particularly for funding models, for investing in the infrastructure to make our cities greener.
I think success is a further acceleration of the intersection of the sustainability issues that not only Microsoft but many companies around the world are working on, and the political landscape and the sort of public-private partnerships that we see fostering at events like this.
I think success for the business community coming out of Rio was not so much about the document, although that will certainly be valuable, but it was making the connections, creating the collaborations, the commitments we made coming in and during.
Now it's all about leaders of companies, leaders of countries getting serious and doing what they need to do for the good of their own people, their own employees, their own shareholders.
In the end, the conference's final declaration pleased almost none of the parties that worked so hard on it. One critic called it 283 paragraphs of fluff. But for business, it was a different story. Outside of the government negotiations, some of the world's largest companies pledged billions of dollars on initiatives, from sustainable water use to sustainable agriculture to incorporating the value of nature into business decisions. So while activists left Rio dispirited, even angry, companies seemed energized, ready to go. Overall, it was the largest corporate participation of any United Nations event in history. Well, that's the business view from Rio. Clearly, the business community is excited about what's going on down here, even if the government officials and the negotiators are struggling. But we'll see what comes out of it. In Rio, I'm Joel Makower.